In life, we often find ourselves in waiting rooms caught between where we are and where we hope to be. It's an endless cycle, this wanting and waiting, as though the happiness we seek exists only on some far horizon. Yet, in this very longing, we forget something crucial. God, or the universe, has a peculiar way of surprising us, often when we least expect it. Life's gifts are like whispers, subtle yet profound, arriving not with fanfare but quietly in unexpected ways. We are taught to set goals, plan meticulously, and envision what our future should look like, as if everything we desire lies within the limits of our imagination. But often life has a different idea. It has its own rhythm, a pulse that doesn't align with our timelines or expectations. And in this gap between what we think we want and what we are given, something incredible happens, a revelation of life's unpredictable generosity. When we least expect it, something beautiful can break through the ordinary fabric of our days. It might be as simple as a kind word from a stranger when we are feeling low, or an opportunity we hadn't even thought to seek. Or it may come in the form of loss or challenge, which, though painful, brings with it a deeper understanding of who we are. There's a magic in these moments, a strange alchemy that turns what we thought was misfortune into the very experience we needed to grow. These blessings, though rarely obvious at first, have a way of changing us in ways that careful planning never could. Consider the irony of our desires. We think we know what will make us happy: a relationship, a career, a lifestyle, and we pursue it with great determination. But once we get it, sometimes we find it doesn't fulfill us the way we imagined. And then, just when we feel lost or disillusioned, something we hadn't even considered enters our lives, offering a deeper, truer happiness. This is the unpredictability of life's gifts. They don't always align with our desires, yet they often exceed them in ways that, in hindsight, feel perfectly crafted for us. It's as though life knows us better than we know ourselves, as if there's an intelligence at work that guides us to what we truly need rather than what we simply want. This unpredictability forces us to step outside of our limited perspectives and embrace a more expansive view of existence. It humbles us, reminding us that for all our intellect and ambition, we are still part of a greater mystery that we cannot control. The unpredictable nature of these gifts requires patience and surrender. We must learn to release our rigid expectations and accept that not everything will happen on our schedule. In fact, the things that come to us in their own time are often the ones that have the most profound impact. When we stop forcing outcomes, we create space for life to work its magic. And it's here, in the unplanned, that we experience the most genuine moments of joy, peace, and clarity. Every unexpected gift, every unplanned detour, reveals to us the limits of our own understanding and the depth of life's generosity. To embrace life's unpredictability is to dance with the unknown, to move with grace even when we can't see where the path leads. In these moments, we learn to trust that there is a purpose beyond our comprehension, and we come to see life not as a puzzle to be solved, but as a journey filled with surprises that remind us of the wonder woven into each step. Trusting the unknown is an invitation to step into the vastness of life without needing a roadmap. It's an act of faith, not in a religious sense, but in the profound belief that there is wisdom and purpose beyond what we can see. We live in a world that often demands control and predictability. We are taught to plan, strategize, and keep our lives neatly arranged. And yet the beauty of life lies in its unpredictability. The moments that shape us the most are rarely the ones we anticipate. In trusting the unknown, we allow ourselves to be guided by something greater than our own limited understanding. Imagine you are standing on the edge of a forest, unable to see beyond the first few trees. You have two choices: to retreat out of fear, or to take a step forward, trusting that the path will reveal itself as you walk. This is what it means to trust the unknown, to have the courage to move forward without needing the assurance of a clear destination. Life, like the forest, offers no guarantees. Yet each step we take without knowing precisely where it will lead brings us deeper into its mysteries And along the way, we encounter experiences, people, and insights we could never have predicted. Trusting the unknown does not mean we abandon our dreams or aspirations. Rather, it means we are willing to let go of how we think things should unfold. In this act of surrender, we stop clinging to rigid expectations and become open to the possibilities that life offers. Often, our greatest disappointments come not from life itself, but from our insistence that it conform to our desires. When we release this need for control, we allow life to surprise us, sometimes in ways that are far more meaningful than we could have planned. At times, the unknown brings challenges that test our patience and resilience. We may feel lost, uncertain, and even fearful. Yet it is precisely in these moments of vulnerability that we find strength we didn't know we had. And trusting the unknown means accepting that growth often happens in the dark, like a seed beneath the soil. It may take time, and we may not see immediate results, but beneath the surface, life is unfolding in ways we cannot yet perceive. Embracing the unknown is a practice of humility. It is the recognition that for all our intelligence and knowledge, there are aspects of life that remain beyond our grasp. This humility does not diminish us. Instead, it connects us to something greater. When we accept that we don't have all the answers, we open ourselves to the wisdom of the present moment, to the gentle guidance that comes when we stop trying to control every outcome. Trusting the unknown requires patience. It asks us to live in a state of openness, to believe that even when we cannot see the way forward, there is a way. And in this trust, we discover a sense of peace. We come to understand that life is not a puzzle to be solved, but a mystery to be lived, a journey where each step reveals the next. By trusting the unknown, we allow life to carry us. And in doing so, we come to see that even in uncertainty, we are held by something timeless and true. Divine timing is a concept that suggests life unfolds not according to our schedule, but rather at a pace that is perfectly aligned with a greater order. We often live in a world of urgency, where fast results and immediate gratification are prized above all else. Yet, if we pause to reflect, we see that the most meaningful events in our lives, the moments that truly transform us, tend to happen not when we demand them, but when we are ready to receive them. Divine timing asks us to trust in this natural unfolding, to believe that everything we need will come into our lives at the right time, even if that timing isn't ours to control. When we look back at our lives, we may notice certain events that seemed almost preordained, as though they were meant to happen exactly when they did. Perhaps we met someone at just the right moment, found a job when we were ready for change, or discovered a new passion just when we needed direction. These experiences give us glimpses of divine timing, where circumstances come together in ways we could never have orchestrated. In these moments, we sense that there's a rhythm to life that operates beyond our comprehension, a rhythm that brings the right people, opportunities, and lessons into our lives when we are prepared to embrace them. Divine timing also teaches us patience. In our eagerness to achieve our goals, we often try to rush life, pushing forward before we have laid the necessary groundwork. But growth cannot be forced. It follows its own pace. A flower does not bloom overnight, and the same is true for us. Divine timing reminds us that each phase of our journey has value, that there are seasons of growth and seasons of waiting, and that both are essential. When we accept this rhythm, we begin to see that there's a purpose in the waiting periods, a preparation that occurs in the quiet spaces before the next chapter begins. There is also a certain wisdom in divine timing that teaches us to release the need for control. We often cling to our plans, imagining that we know what's best for ourselves. Yet when we force things before their time, we may find that they do not bring the fulfillment we expected. Divine timing encourages us to step back, to loosen our grip, and to let life unfold in its own way. By doing so, we may find that what arrives is not only different from what we envisioned, but far richer and more aligned with who we truly are. Divine timing asks us to trust in a higher intelligence, one that orchestrates the universe with a precision beyond human understanding. This trust, however, does not imply passivity. Instead, it means we are active participants, putting forth our best effort while also remaining open to the possibility that things may unfold differently than planned. This balance allows us to work toward our dreams while staying receptive to the mysteries life may bring. It's a partnership with the universe, a dance between action and surrender. The divine timing invites us to live with faith in the unfolding of our own lives. It encourages us to be present, to let go of anxiety over the future, and to appreciate each moment for what it offers. When we trust in divine timing, we start to see life as a journey where every experience, every setback, and every delay is part of a larger picture. And within this larger picture, everything has its rightful place and purpose, arriving exactly when we are ready to receive it. The paradox of waiting lies in its seemingly contradictory nature. Although waiting often feels like doing nothing, it is, in fact, a time of deep internal activity and transformation. In a culture that prizes instant results, waiting can feel uncomfortable, even frustrating, as though we're stuck in a place of inaction. Yet beneath this stillness, waiting holds a profound wisdom that encourages growth, patience, and the acceptance of life's natural flow. In waiting, we come face to face with our own restlessness, our need for control, and the limits of our understanding. It is here, in this space of anticipation, that we find some of life's most important lessons. At first, waiting may feel like a test of endurance, a holding pattern that keeps us from moving forward. But what if waiting isn't an obstacle, but rather an essential part of the journey? When we wait, we're given an opportunity to pause, to step back from the relentless push for progress, and to observe where we are in the present moment. This pause can be transformative, for it shifts our focus from the outcome to the process itself. By letting go of the urge to reach a particular destination, we start to see the richness in the journey, appreciating the small, often overlooked details of our lives. Waiting also teaches us patience, a quality that is rare but deeply necessary. In a world that often encourages us to rush through life, waiting asks us to slow down, to breathe, and to surrender to time's natural pace. Patience doesn't mean sitting idly, it means trusting that things will unfold as they should, when they are meant to. This kind of trust requires courage, for it demands that we release our expectations and allow life to unfold on its own terms. In doing so, we begin to realize that waiting isn't a barrier, it's a teacher, guiding us toward a deeper acceptance of life as it is. The paradox of waiting also reveals our inner resistance, the part of us that wants to force outcomes or rush ahead. Waiting confronts this impatience, showing us that life's timing isn't always aligned with our desires. Sometimes the things we want most are not what we truly need in that moment. By accepting the space that waiting creates, we allow room for life to bring us what is most beneficial, even if it doesn't look like what we envisioned. This process of release can be challenging, but it is also freeing, as it reminds us that we are not in control of everything. In waiting, we relinquish the illusion of control and open ourselves to unexpected possibilities. Waiting often prepares us in ways we cannot see. Just as seeds rest in the soil before sprouting, we too need periods of stillness to gather strength, to reflect, and to mature. This hidden work is not visible, but it is vital. The person we become during these waiting periods is often the one we need to be in order to fully appreciate or make use of what comes next. In this way, waiting is a transformative force that refines us, making us more resilient, more grounded, and more open to life's surprises. In waiting, there is a paradoxical power. Though we may feel inactive, waiting is one of the most profound acts of trust. It is a time of surrender, an opportunity to let go of our insistence on immediate results and embrace the unfolding mystery of life. Through waiting, we learn patience, humility, and the courage to sit in the unknown. This paradox that in stillness we grow, that in waiting we progress, reveals a hidden truth sometimes. The most powerful transformations happen not when we are moving, but when we are willing to stay, to be present in the quiet, and to trust that life's timing is guiding us exactly where we need to be. Releasing expectations is an art of letting go, a gentle yet profound practice that invites us to live more fully in the present moment. We all have expectations, ideas about how our lives should look, how people should treat us, and what we should accomplish. These expectations are woven into our dreams, plans, and interactions. But more often than not, our expectations create tension and disappointment, clouding our ability to experience life as it is. When we release expectations, we open ourselves to a reality that is both unpredictable and full of possibilities we may not have foreseen. Expectations act as filters through which we see the world, often narrowing our perspective. When we expect a particular outcome, we limit ourselves to a single path, failing to notice other opportunities that may be equally or even more fulfilling. By releasing these expectations, we create room for life to unfold in ways that might surprise and delight us. Imagine going into a new experience with no predetermined idea of how it should go. Rather than feeling frustrated when things don't meet our standards, we become curious and open, receptive to what life offers. This openness transforms even the mundane into something rich and alive, filling each moment with a sense of wonder. Letting go of expectations doesn't mean we abandon our goals or give up on dreams. Instead, it's a shift in our approach, an invitation to pursue our aspirations with flexibility rather than rigidity. When we cling tightly to how we think things should be, we risk overlooking the subtleties and opportunities that lie along the way. Releasing expectations allows us to move toward our goals with resilience and adaptability. If things don't go according to plan, we are better equipped to pivot, to find new paths, and to appreciate the journey itself, rather than obsessing over a specific outcome. This way, the journey becomes meaningful in its own right, not just a means to an end. In our relationships, releasing expectations is especially powerful. We often hold ideas about how others should behave, what they should give us, or how they should react. These expectations constrain our connections as they place pressure on others to meet our demands. When we release these notions, we allow people the freedom to be themselves, and in doing so, we cultivate relationships rooted in acceptance and authenticity. Rather than feeling disappointed when others don't meet our standards, we come to appreciate them for who they are, not for who we want them to be. This shift nurtures genuine connection, where love and respect replace judgment and frustration. Releasing expectations also brings peace within ourselves. Much of our inner turmoil arises from the gap between what we expect of ourselves and where we actually are. We set standards, compare ourselves to others, and judge our progress. When we let go of these self-imposed demands, we find compassion, a gentleness that allows us to appreciate our journey without constant self-criticism. This acceptance doesn't mean complacency, rather, it's a recognition that growth is a gradual process, and that our worth is not tied to meeting arbitrary benchmarks. By releasing expectations, we free ourselves from the pressure to be perfect and allow room for genuine progress. Releasing expectations is about embracing life's inherent uncertainty. It is about finding comfort in the unknown, trusting that life will unfold as it should, even if it doesn't match our carefully laid plans. This surrender does not equate to passivity. It is an active practice of faith, a reminder that life's beauty often lies in its unpredictability. When we let go of rigid expectations, we experience life with fresh eyes, able to accept each moment as it comes. In this space of openness, we discover a sense of freedom, a lightness that comes from no longer fighting against reality. Releasing expectations is a pathway to inner peace and a fuller experience of life. It encourages us to let go of our need to control, to trust in the flow of life, and to find beauty in what is rather than constantly yearning for what could be. This shift allows us to meet each moment, each person, and each experience without preconditions, cultivating a sense of harmony with the world as it is. And in this harmony, we may find that life offers more than we ever dared to expect. Finding grace in the present moment is a practice of grounding ourselves in the here and now, fully embracing life as it unfolds. In our fast-paced world, we are often preoccupied with plans, memories, or concerns, and it can feel almost impossible to stop and simply be. Yet within the present moment lies a unique grace, a sense of peace and fulfillment that transcends past regrets or future worries. This grace isn't something we acquire or strive for, rather, it's a quality that emerges naturally when we are fully engaged with what is happening right here, right now. At its essence, grace is an openness, a softness in how we relate to our experiences. It's the gentle realization that each moment, no matter how mundane or challenging, holds a spark of the sacred. Often we imagine that grace is reserved for extraordinary events or spiritual insights, but it's in the simple, everyday experiences that grace quietly resides. We find it in the warmth of sunlight filtering through trees, in the laughter of a friend, or in the calm of a few deep breaths. When we slow down enough to notice, we begin to see that each moment is a gift, offering us something valuable if we are willing to receive it. However, being present is not always easy. Our minds have a natural tendency to drift, filling up with thoughts of what we need to do, what we should have done, or what we fear lies ahead. This constant movement away from the present keeps us in a state of dissatisfaction as we chase after an idealized future or dwell on a reconstructed past. Finding grace in the moment means gently guiding ourselves back to now, letting go of the stories our minds weave and immersing ourselves in what is actually happening. It's a practice of bringing our attention to our immediate surroundings, our breathing, and our feelings. The more we do this, the more we realize that peace is always accessible. It's simply a matter of where we choose to focus. When we are fully present, we begin to experience life more vividly. The colors around us seem brighter, sounds more distinct, and even our emotions feel richer. This heightened awareness is grace in action. It transforms the ordinary into something beautiful. Tasks that once felt tedious become meaningful as we engage with them fully. We stop rushing through life, and instead we savor it. Every conversation, every task, every sensation holds a subtle yet profound beauty, one that is easily missed when we are elsewhere in our minds. By practicing presence, we open ourselves to the miracle of each moment. Grace in the present moment also brings acceptance. When we are truly present, we're not fighting against reality. We are not resisting our feelings or wishing things were different. Instead, we are allowing life to be as it is. This doesn't mean complacency, but rather a deep trust that each moment is enough, that we don't need to constantly be more, do more, or have more. This acceptance brings a lightness, a release from the need to control every aspect of our lives. We become less reactive, more resilient, and better able to face challenges with equanimity. In the present moment, we find the strength to let go of judgments, seeing both ourselves and others with compassion. Finding grace in the present also connects us with gratitude. When we are fully engaged with life, we naturally feel a sense of appreciation for the smallest details. We notice the kindness in someone's smile, the comfort of a quiet evening, or the taste of a simple meal. This gratitude flows from presence, as we realize that we already have so much more than we tend to acknowledge. By focusing on what is here, right now, we become more aware of life's blessings, large and small. This gratitude is not forced or superficial. It arises naturally, reminding us that even in difficult times there is beauty to be found. Grace in the present moment teaches us that we don't have to wait for special occasions or perfect circumstances to feel fulfilled. Every moment contains its own kind of grace, available if we simply pause to notice. By being present, we allow life's richness to unfold in real time, experiencing a deep sense of peace and connection that doesn't depend on external achievements or future outcomes. In this way, we learn that life's true beauty is not somewhere far off, waiting to be discovered. It's right here, hidden in the quiet simplicity of each moment we choose to fully live. In embracing the present moment, we uncover a profound truth. The peace, joy, and grace we seek are not somewhere beyond our reach, but woven into the fabric of each experience we encounter. By letting go of expectations, releasing the grip of the past, and quieting worries about the future, we create space for life to reveal its beauty in real time. This practice is not a one-time revelation, but an ongoing journey, inviting us to return to the here and now with openness and curiosity. In each moment, there exists a subtle gift, a reminder that we already possess everything we need to feel complete, connected, and whole. When we find grace in the present, we cultivate a lasting sense of gratitude, inner peace, and resilience, allowing us to face life's ebbs and flows with calm and clarity. In the end, to live fully is to live in the present, where true grace awaits us, always. My dear friends, have you ever felt that life has taken more from you than it has given? That the world, in all its unpredictable twists and turns, has left you with empty hands and a weary heart? But what if I told you that loss is not a punishment, nor a curse, but a sacred turning of the wheel? You see, the universe is not against you. It never was. You were never forgotten, never cast aside. In fact, you are among the chosen, and heaven itself is preparing to repay you in ways beyond your wildest dreams. But first you must understand the rhythm of existence, the dance of gain and loss, and the profound beauty hidden in your trials. Life moves in waves, rising and falling, giving and taking, breathing in and out. To exist is to be part of this eternal rhythm, this cosmic dance, where gain and loss are not opposing forces, but two sides of the same unfolding story. Yet when loss comes, when the tide recedes and we are left standing in what seems like emptiness, we begin to question the nature of it all. We wonder if we've been forsaken, if what was taken will ever return, if our suffering has any meaning at all. But think of the ocean. The wave does not rise without first withdrawing. It does not crash upon the shore without first pulling back into the vastness of the sea. And in the same way, your losses are not the end of the story, but a moment in the grand motion of life. What you perceive as an ending is merely the preparation for something greater to emerge. The universe is not chaotic or cruel. It is a perfect balance, a harmonious unfolding of events that, when truly understood, reveal an intelligence beyond human comprehension. The problem is that we resist, we cling, we hold on to what must go, fearing that if we let it slip through our fingers, we will be left with nothing. But in truth, we are never left with nothing. Even in the greatest of losses, something remains. Something unseen, something waiting, something growing in the space that was cleared. The forest does not despair when the leaves fall. It trusts that in due time new ones will take their place. The river does not weep when it lets go of the water it once carried, for it knows that fresh streams are always on their way. But we as humans struggle to see beyond the immediate moment. We define ourselves by what we have, by what we hold, by what we fear to lose. And when loss comes, we take it as a personal attack, a wound to the soul. We forget that everything in existence is part of a cycle. Birth and death, rise and fall, creation and destruction. The wise ones, the truly awakened, understand this and embrace it. They do not resist the ebb and flow of life, but dance with it, knowing that every loss is simply making space for the next gift to arrive. You see, what you have lost was never truly lost. It is only transformed, shifted, dissolved into the great current of existence, waiting to return to you in another form. The universe is like a great potter, shaping and reshaping the clay of your life, breaking down what no longer serves you to create something more beautiful, more fitting for the next stage of your journey. And just as a sculptor must first chisel away at the marble to reveal the masterpiece within, so too must life sometimes strip away what is unnecessary, so that your true self may emerge. You were never forgotten, never abandoned, never left behind. You are part of something vast, something sacred, something that has been moving through you since the beginning of time. And the losses you have endured are not punishments, not signs of unworthiness, but whispers of change, invitations to grow, to transform, to step into the next phase of your divine unfolding. So do not grieve what has left you. Do not curse the storm for taking away what you once held dear. Instead, trust in the deeper movement of life, in the unseen forces that are always working in your favor. Because heaven does not forget its chosen ones, and what was taken will return. Perhaps not in the way you expected, but in the way you truly need. And when it does, you will see that every moment of loss was simply the hand of the divine, clearing the path for something far greater than you ever imagined. You were never unchosen, never cast aside, never ignored by the great intelligence that moves all things. From the very beginning, you were part of the unfolding, an essential thread in the grand tapestry of existence. But somewhere along the way, the world convinced you otherwise. It told you that life is a competition, that some are destined for greatness while others are left behind, that suffering is a sign of rejection rather than transformation. And so when hardship came knocking at your door, you questioned your place in the divine order. You wondered if you had been forgotten, if the blessings of life had passed you by, if the universe had turned its back on you. But you see, the very fact that you are here, breathing, thinking, feeling, means that you are already chosen. The idea that only a select few are worthy of divine favor is an illusion, a story created by minds that cannot grasp the vastness of existence. There was never a moment when you were not held by the universe, never a time when you were separated from the great force that moves all things. Meditation, you are the foundation of everything. Meditation, you are the moment when you are separated from the great force that moves all things. The rain does not choose which flowers to nourish. The sun does not decide which trees are worthy of light. They give freely, without discrimination, because that is their nature. And in the same way, life has always been flowing toward you, always offering, always guiding, even in moments when you could not see it. But why, then, do we suffer? Why do we experience loss if we are truly held in the arms of the divine? The answer lies in our perception. We measure our worth by external things, by success, by wealth, by relationships, by the things we can hold and possess. And when those things slip through our fingers, we assume we have been abandoned. But what if loss is not a rejection, but an invitation? What if the things that leave us are simply making way for something greater? The universe does not take without giving, does not destroy without creating, does not close one door without opening another. But we, in our limited sight, focus only on what is gone, never seeing what is arriving. To be chosen does not mean to be spared from difficulty. It means to be shaped, to be refined, to be led through experiences that awaken the deepest parts of your soul. The greatest wisdom is not found in a life free from struggle, but in the realization that struggle itself is part of the divine design. The fire that burns away the old is the same fire that forges the new. The seed must break open to become the tree, a keto for the ancient meaning of the seed. The night must come before the dawn. And so, if you have faced trials, if you have walked through darkness, if you have felt the weight of loss upon your shoulders, know this: you have not been forsaken. You have been prepared. Prepared for a deeper understanding, for a greater unfolding, for the blessings that can only be received by those who have been through the fire and emerged transformed. The old version of you, the one that clung to certainty, to comfort, to familiarity, had to be stripped away so that your truer self could rise. And now, as you stand in this space between what was and what will be, know that you are not alone. The same force that set the stars in motion, that moves the tides, that orchestrates the dance of galaxies, is moving within you. And when the time is right, when you are ready, heaven's repayment will come, not as a simple restoration of what was lost, but as a gift beyond what you ever imagined. Because you were never unworthy, never forgotten. You were always chosen, and you always will be. When we think of repayment, we often imagine it in material terms. We expect life to give back what was taken, to restore what was lost in the exact form we remember it. If we have lost money, we want wealth returned. If we have lost love, we want the same person back. If we have been wronged, we want justice to arrive in the way we picture it. But heaven does not operate by our human sense of transaction. It does not simply replace what was lost. It transforms the loss itself into something far greater than we could ever conceive. Consider the ways in which life has already given to you in unexpected forms. Have you not known pain that later turned into wisdom? Have you not experienced failure that led you to a new path? Have you not endured heartbreak only to discover a deeper capacity for love? We assume that loss is an empty space that must be filled, but in reality, loss itself is the space where new things grow. The absence is not a punishment. It is an opening, a doorway, a clearing where the divine can plant something that could not have existed otherwise. But in order to receive, one must first let go. Imagine holding tightly to a rope, convinced that if you release it, you will fall. But what if that rope is not keeping you safe? What if it is only keeping you from reaching solid ground? This is the paradox of surrender. What feels like giving up is often the very thing that allows new blessings to flow. When we resist, when we demand that life return to us exactly what we lost, we block the very forces that are trying to bring us something better. The cup that is already full cannot be filled again. The hands that grip too tightly cannot receive. So heaven's repayment does not come as a mere restoration, it comes as expansion. It does not simply give you back what was taken, it gives you what you never even knew you needed. The mind, trapped in its small and limited understanding, grieves for what is gone, but the soul, if allowed, rejoices in what is becoming. You may think that your greatest blessings are behind you, that what you lost was the best life had to offer, but you have not yet seen the full picture. 3. You do not yet know the beauty of what is still unfolding. The key is trust, not blind faith, not passive waiting, but a deep and abiding trust in the nature of life itself, a trust that whispers, even in the darkest moments, this is not the end. A trust that understands that the universe is not in the business of punishment, but of transformation, that nothing is taken without purpose and nothing is given without meaning. The repayment you seek is already on its way, not in the form you expect, but in the form that is right. But can you accept that? Can you let go of the need to dictate the terms of your blessing? Can you release the tight grip of your expectations and allow something greater to take shape? The moment you do, you will begin to see that life was never against you, that heaven had never forgotten you, that what seemed like loss was merely preparation for something beyond your wildest dreams. Because heaven does not return things as they were. It gives them back to you in ways that make you whole. What was broken is not just fixed, it is remade. What was empty is not just filled, it overflows. And what was lost was never truly lost, for it was always leading you to something far greater than you ever imagined. There is a great illusion that suffering means something has gone wrong, that hardship is a sign of abandonment, that those who struggle have been overlooked by heaven. But what if struggle is not a curse, but a passage? What if the difficulties you have faced were never meant to break you, but to awaken you? What if every loss, every setback, every moment of despair was not proof that you were forgotten, but proof that you were being prepared? Look at the world around you. The tree does not resist the wind, and yet it becomes stronger because of it. The river does not fight the rocks in its path, yet it carves through mountains with time. The butterfly must struggle against the cocoon to gain the strength to fly. Everywhere in nature we see this truth. The most beautiful transformations come not in ease, but in challenge. And yet, when hardship touches our own lives, we forget this. We think we are being punished. We believe we are being left behind. But you must understand, the trials you have faced were never meant to defeat you. They were meant to refine you, to shape you into something greater than you were before. The pain you have endured has given you depth, wisdom, resilience. It has carved away the false ideas, the unnecessary fears, the limiting beliefs that once held you back. You have walked through fire, yes, but you have not been consumed by it. You have been transformed by it. And now, as you stand here, looking back at all you have endured, do you not see how much you have grown? Do you not see that the person you are today carries a strength that could not have existed without the struggles you faced? Life has been sculpting you, molding you, preparing you for what is to come. Heaven has not ignored your suffering. It has seen every tear, felt every ache, known every silent prayer you have whispered into the night. And the time is coming when you will understand why it all happened the way it did. But you must be willing to trust the process. You must be willing to release the bitterness, the anger, the resentment that tells you life has been unfair. Because the truth is, life has been setting you up for something beyond what you can yet comprehend. The universe is always moving in ways beyond our immediate understanding, shifting things, aligning moments, orchestrating events that we cannot yet see. We may simply see the beginnings of the moment and affix a thought to what we see. What may look like loss now is often just a redirection, a turning of the path towards something better. And when the time is right, when the work of transformation has been completed, you will see the repayment unfold before you, not in the form of simply getting back what you lost, but in the form of something greater, something richer, something that makes every hardship make sense. Because heaven does not just restore, it multiplies. It does not simply heal, it elevates. The divine essence, the truth, it is everything. And when you are ready, when you have embraced the wisdom of your journey, you will look back and realize that nothing was ever truly taken from you. It was only being rearranged to bring you to where you were always meant to be. So do not despair. Do not fall into the illusion that your struggles have been in vain. The seeds of your hardship have already been planted, and in time they will bloom into blessings beyond your wildest imagination. What was lost was never truly lost. It was simply making way for something far greater. And when it comes, you will see that heaven had been watching over you all along, waiting for the perfect moment to reveal the beauty of the plan that had been unfolding in your favor from the very beginning. You may have spent years wondering why certain things happened the way they did, why doors closed, why people left, why the things you held on to so dearly slipped through your fingers, despite your best efforts to keep them. You may have felt abandoned, forgotten, as if the world moved on without you while you stood still in the ruins of what once was. But what if those losses were never meant to break you? What if they were simply guiding you towards something far greater? What if everything you have been through was leading you to a revelation, one so profound that it changes the way you see everything? There comes a moment in every journey when the traveler looks back and realizes that every detour, every hardship, every painful experience was necessary to bring them to where they were meant to be. What once seemed like chaos suddenly makes sense. What once felt like punishment is now revealed as preparation. This is the grand revelation. The understanding that nothing was ever truly against you, that life was never working to harm you, but to shape you, to awaken you, to lead you towards something you never would have found had you stayed where you were. But we resist this truth because we want to control the outcome. We want life to unfold according to our plans, to follow the script we have written in our minds. And when it doesn't, when things fall apart, we feel betrayed. But the universe does not operate according to our expectations. It moves according to something much deeper, something wiser. Sometimes the things we think we want are far smaller than what is actually meant for us. Look, sometimes the doors that close are the ones that would have kept us trapped. Sometimes the people who leave are the ones who would have held us back. And so the losses you have endured were never truly losses at all. They were simply moments of redirection. the hand of the divine gently pulling you away from what was not meant for you so that you could be guided toward something greater. But to see this, you must be willing to let go of the old way of thinking. You must be willing to release the idea that your suffering was meaningless, that your hardships were mere accidents. There are no accidents. Everything you have been through has been part of a greater unfolding, a larger design that you could not yet see, and soon you will begin to see it. You will look around and realize that the emptiness you once feared has become space for something new to grow, that the pain you once thought would break you has instead made you stronger, wiser, more open to the beauty that is coming your way. You will begin to understand that every loss was a preparation, every tear was watering the soil for the blessings that are about to bloom. And when those blessings arrive, you will no longer question why things happened the way they did. You will know. Heaven has not forgotten you, it never did. It was always watching, always waiting for the perfect moment to reveal what was being prepared for you. And when it comes, it will not just restore what was lost, it will give you something far greater. Because you were never being punished, you were being prepared. And now, as you stand at the threshold of a new chapter, you must be ready to receive. The repayment is coming not as mere compensation, but as something beyond your wildest dreams. Your dream is more than new compensation, but as something beyond your wildest dreams. All you must do is trust, open your heart, and step forward into the life that has been waiting for you all along.